Thank you, Jack Waters. This is ThinkTech broadcasting live from the Davies Pacific Center here on a Wednesday on the 26th of December. And one of the things that we're doing this week is we're playing a program on OC16 called Eat the Street is Invigorating Kaka'ako. That's because we follow, ThinkTech follows Eat the Street, ThinkTech follows Kaka'ako. We've been following it for a long time, at least 10 years. We followed it through the development of the medical school, of the JAPSOM 2 building, which didn't get built, of the Asia Pacific Innovation Center, which hasn't been built, the Cancer Research Center, which has been built and is about to open. Glorious for that. We have followed Kaka'ako in detail. We have gone down there every few days to check out what's going on. And in recent years, because we believe in the future of Kaka'ako, we believe Kaka'ako is the future of the city and the island, and probably in some ways the state. It is a melting pot. It is a crucible. It is an incubator in the fullest sense. And in recent years, along Pohukaina Street, something is happening. There's a new wind blowing in Kaka'ako. How can I tell? Because there's more traffic there. And with us here today, we have Poni Askew, who is the founder and chief executive of Street Grinds with a Z, and the website is streetgrindswithaz.com. But it's a business, it's a real business, and beyond that, it's a business that actually encourages other businesses. So it gets big points. Hi, Poni. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Poni gave us a tour around Eat the Street, on the 30th of November.
Yeah.
And that's the movie that we made for OC16. And it was a wonderful tour. And Poni was really so gracious, not only with us, ThinkTech, but with all the vendors there. And I watched her relate to these vendors, and it was a sight to see.
Yeah.
So that's why tonight I want to sort of, resonate against the TV show that's playing right now this week, if you care. Actually, it was held over. It's playing for the second week now on OC16. It's that interesting. And I wanted to, ask Poni about what's going on with Street Grinds and why we should care. So the first thing is, tell us, Poni, what happened on November 30 that was so memorable?
So for November 30th, we actually celebrated Kamehameha School's 125th anniversary with them, which, we were definitely privileged to be chosen to be the celebration, location for this monumental day. And so we had our Eat the Street event as usual, but it was a huge luau with tons of Hawaiian food from over 40 of our food vendors that we had participate with us in that event. And it was just a really nice night. We had, Kani Kapila and Hawaiian music, and the keiki came out, and they performed for us. And so, the collaborative with Kamehameha Schools and the lunch wagons that were there, it was just a really nice night. So
DJ Mailer, the CEO, president of Kamehameha Schools, was there. She is so nice. And there was a fair presence of Kamehameha. And you had a theme that night.
We did.
And what was the theme? You always have a theme in the food, right?
We do.
What
we
was the
always
theme?
have a theme. It was luau. So we had Hawaiian food as the theme for that night. And, it would just be more appropriate for us to celebrate a 125th anniversary with Kamehameha Schools alongside a Hawaiian luau. So
You're a graduate?
my mom is.
Okay.
I always say I didn't make the lottery. I got my name in that hat, but never got it pulled.
Poni, I think one of these days you're going to get a letter from them. They're going to say they want to give you an honorary degree just for old time's sake.
I'll take it. Then at least I can say I'm an alum.
Right. Anyway, so give us now. You gave us a video tour, a walking tour. Now
Yeah.
give us a word tour, a word picture of what goes on at Eat the Street. What went on November 30?
Well, so, Eat the Street always starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it goes till 9 o'clock at night. And collectively, this food brigade shows up and parks on the corner of Keawe Street in Pohukaina at 555 South Street. And we take up a third of this 3-acre parking lot. And we include live art we embrace all different types of, artisans, whether it be food artisans or artists from around the neighborhood. And so we have a nice little corner for them where they have been doing live art for us for 2 years now.
Is that the art truck, or is that beyond the art truck?
It was beyond. The art truck is a recent addition to our group. He's been with us for about 2 or 3 months now. But
If you guys haven't been there, you have to imagine, roughly 50 trucks
yeah,
of food and all kinds of stuff. And
tons.
mostly it's food. But one of the trucks that Poni showed us was the art truck.
Mhm.
And it's fantastic. The truck is full of art. He collects art, or buys it, or takes it on consignment from artists all over the island. Then he drives around, not only here, not only at Eat the Street, but he drives around the island selling the art of other people. And it's a wonderful thing. It's almost eleemosynary what he does,
Yeah.
and it's almost eleemosynary what you do.
Yeah, it's kind of a smaller version, being that he's one vehicle that's packed up a bunch of artisans and their work, and he's sharing it around the island just like we do with our food vendors. So the art truck is there, and he displays everything, and then he usually puts on because it's dark. Yeah, of course, this is a nighttime event, so he'll usually put on his little headlamp and start painting away as well, because he's an artist himself.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So we
He
have.
showed me a Van Gogh for $80.
I know.
I said, "Yeah, you can't get that anymore. Used to be able, but not now. $80
Yeah.
for a Van Gogh is a pretty good price."
It is. So we represent art. We've had live performances. Samadhi, Hawaii has been there. We also have the radio station, so you can get anywhere from DJs playing, kind of like I call food-friendly DJ music on the opposite end of the lot, because it's that big. We also work with radio station with KCCN and KINE, and they bring in, some nice Hawaiian music. So
Maybe you should have KGU there too,
we can do that.
Okay, all right, we got to talk.
We'll give you a 10. You can do that live.
There's so much action, and you have this huge, big TV set. I mean, not a set; it's a screen. It's as big a
Yeah.
screen as you ever saw. What do you put on that screen?
So on that screen, we aggregate social media, and our buddies at the Greenhouse created this great social media content aggregator called ScreenFuse. And we basically put up a place where, beyond the people that are there, there's social media taking place. And we started as a social media venue before we became like what they call in real life experience. And so it's definitely part of the roots of what our company is, and we love to be able to share with everybody the chatter, the food pictures that are being taken, what people are saying. It's been used as a location finder, so they'll Instagram where they are, and
Oh, great!
they'll meet up
pictures
at Elena's Filipino Food.
Exactly what food truck they're at, whether they like the food.
Yeah. And so, that huge 30-foot screen that we put up, it includes all the social media chatter through ScreenFuse that's taking place in the event during that evening.
Well, it's comment on social media.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to tell you that the movie that we're working on, that will be broadcasting on OC16 starting this Sunday, is about the marathon, about the new technology in the marathon. You can catch that on OC16 at 10:30 on Sunday night, and every day thereafter at varying times. But what we found was that the marathon has taken off. It's 40 years old. It's the 40th anniversary, and they've been, trying to expand it as they would. I mean, it's an entrepreneurial activity, but now it's skyrocketing. Why? Social media. They brought in experts from London, actually,
Wow.
a Swedish guy from London by the name of Fredrik Bjornvall, and he does the social media, and the numbers have gone astronomical. They have 31,000 entries for this marathon on the 9th of December. Unbelievable. And so it's the same thing. In case you don't believe in social media yet, here's 2 live proofs of its power. For example, Poni has done remarkable things in building her company and building this event with social media.
It's true. And we started as a Twitter handle, and so the goal for Street Grinds was just to simply put Hawaii's food entrepreneurs on the map. Obviously, food trucks have become a big trend nationally, and I didn't want for the legacy, really truly, of Honolulu and Hawaii to be set aside and lost in all of that. And, you know, I keep saying we've been doing this since the Manapua Man days. And no, he didn't have wheels, but he had 2 feet and 2 baskets on his shoulder. And so, you know, from that, we just decided to bring a presence to that food industry through Twitter, which, you know, at that point, once we started letting people know, obviously, we started building a following on Twitter. And basically, 3 months into it, had an event where it was only promoted on our Twitter and Facebook page, and 1,200 people showed up to have food from 12 food trucks. That was our first event, and
Wow, what a start!
it was, yeah, and it's been great. You know, ever since then, we outgrew our lot instantaneously. We were crammed on Kapiolani Boulevard, and it was thoroughly packed. So.
Poni, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I want to talk more about how you built this company, how you used your native entrepreneurial skills, your connection with social media and all that to make this happen, okay? This is ThinkTech. I'm with Poni Askew. We'll be right back to talk more about Eat the Street. We're back. We're live. We're ThinkTech, and it is Wednesday for ThinkTech Wednesday with Poni Askew talking about Eat the Street, how it is invigorating Kaka'ako, and it is a great experience. Even to sit here talking with you, I'm getting hungry. I imagine those trucks. We're going to talk more about those trucks. But one of the things I think people need to know about is the collaboration you're doing on December 31st. Before we get to that, I just want to say if anybody out there is interested in discussing this matter with Poni, of commenting, maybe you went, you liked it, you know, you want to give a thumbs up like to it, or if you have a question about what those food trucks are really doing and how you can make one all of your own, which is really an interesting question, call us. Call us at 296-5467 and learn how to be an entrepreneur with a food truck. World class. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Anyway, Poni, tell me about the collaboration that you're going to do on New Year's Eve right there in Kaka'ako.
Well, yeah, so we've decided we normally are sticklers about sticking to the last Friday of every month for our Eat the Street event. But for this month, with the holidays and everything that's going on, we have decided to postpone our event from the last Friday and collaborate with a huge event taking place at Kaka'ako Park for New Year's Eve. It's called Party of the Year. And, you know, we definitely are happy to be a part of that event and bring our lunch wagons to a huge New Year's Eve party. I mean, if you know Kaka'ako Park and all the rolling hills that are there and the amphitheater that typically has concerts, there's going to be a ton of things going on. Our event, as always, will be the free part of the event. And, you know, for Eat the Street, it's very important to remain a free event for the community. But once you've gotten your food and you've gotten your good eats, then you can go on into the park where there's going to be music, and every hour there's going to be fireworks. So great family-friendly event, you know, for the kids that can't stay up till midnight. You can have them see the fireworks at 9 and then head on home if that's what you desire. But they've got people jumping out of, you know, airplanes and a huge Ferris wheel, and it really is going to be a New Year's Eve like no other. So
It sounds fabulous. You know, I have an idea. You know, you talk about these food trucks. I love the food trucks because the food truck, we'll talk more about them later, but the food trucks are special. And I'm thinking, you know, the way to line up for this is you have, say, 50 food trucks, so you have a parade. Yeah.
yes, we've
You
thought
have
about
a
parade.
procession of
Yeah.
these food trucks just driving around the
I know.
city. People will get the idea what's
I
going
know.
on, you know.
We need a sponsor for that. You know, I mean, it's about $75 for them to fill up a truck and do business in one day, just in fuel alone. So as long as we could get a sponsor to sponsor that progression, I
the
think we'll be
parade.
all good.
The Eat the Street parade.
That would be,
It'll get a lot of attention.
I think so.
Maybe we can do not only a show, but a live show from the parade.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll put you on the top of one of them.
Okay,
You can
there
air
it
live
is.
from there.
Sign. Well, we got to be careful about signs.
Oh,
but,
that's
you
right.
know.
That's right.
Anyway, then you have other things you're doing beside that New Year's thing, which ought to be just wonderful, especially for kids.
Yeah.
You have this thing called the Taste Cafe. Tell me about the Taste Cafe.
Yeah, so we're really excited about Taste Cafe. We knew that eventually we wanted a place where our mobile food vendors could practice in a brick and mortar environment for a short period of time and really see what it's like to have a space for people to be able to find them in one location. And so we collaborated actually with Chef Mark Noguchi, also known as the Gooch, and Amanda Corby, to bring two worlds of the food industry together. And Chef Mark Noguchi represents the chefs that have gone to school and for the most part all have existing restaurants. And then Street Grinds, of course, represents the mobile food entrepreneurs. And so at any given time in what I call a food venue, or it's a permanent pop-up, you can come into Taste Cafe on a Wednesday and have crepes on Thursday. And
Crepes is that
yeah.
here in Hawaii, nay.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. And then Thursdays is musubis, Fridays is fresh baked Fridays, and you can have some amazing baked goods by Nokaoi cookies or from Wawa Waffles. And so the idea is from Tuesday through Friday for breakfast and lunch, you have a fixed menu for every quarter, and it just changes quarterly. On the higher end, we've hosted chefs like Leanne Wong from Food Network and Unique Eats. She's done 2 pop-up dinners now at our cafe with Chef Mark Noguchi. And it's really a fun experience, not only for those 2 things, but anybody who wants to maybe try something before they actually invest into the whole program. And so they have the opportunity to come in, share their menu, share their product, get feedback on it, and really know what next steps to do, whether it's fix this, add a little more salt there, even as far as changing. Even as far as changing their logo around. It's an opportunity for them to have a forum that can come and give them feedback. Before they invest thoroughly into a business that they want to go into.
Now, this used to be the Iconic Cafe on Keawe Street.
Yeah, it used to be at the Iconic Cafe. We're at the Iconic Cafe on the corner of Keawe and Awahi Street. And they did, plate lunches, and they had been around for a very long time. And for whatever reason, they had closed down. We thought it would be a good opportunity for our Kaka'ako development with Eat the Street to just move up 1 block from where we normally take place and have our Taste Cafe.
Yeah, so then you can sort of cross-pollinate with the food trucks.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting. What kind of a dining experience is it? Can I take my wife there for dinner?
It by nature, because of the way that it was built for Iconic, it's more a grab and go. When we do when we do the sit-down dinners, which they do take place, they're typically pre-sold tickets, and they have a capacity of 40 people.
Oh, okay.
And in that case, it is definitely a sit-down dining experience, and food is served to you at the table.
Okay, so 40. I mean, so I have to get a ticket. I have to reserve in a special way, maybe on the web. What?
Yeah, I think that the best route to go with a place like Taste Cafe, because it's always changing, it's always popping up different experiences, is to just follow it on tastetable.com.
Tastetable.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Street Grinds with a Z.com, and we have tastetable.com.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an empire developing here.
It is. And we're proud of it, because it's just another way to support the industry that, is the foundation of what we do. And so if we can bring in a food truck that, for example, Boom Musubi, who is a brand new business, and he can build a following before ever rolling out into the street as a food truck, then he's that much better for it when he gets that going.
Sure, and you offer him that. So you select. It's you, Poni, right? You see food trucks out in the community. You ask them to join you in Eat in the Street. And then you see them in Eat in the Street, and you ask them to join you at the Taste Cafe.
Yeah.
It's like stepping up to the top.
Yeah. It definitely is a stepping process. And, at the end of the day, what we hope to see is, brick and mortars either become more strong in what they do. We all know that in the food industry, it's a high turnover, high failure. And if we can be an impact in any way to that failure rate to decrease, then at the end of the day, I'm doing what's making me most happy. So, and that's seeing entrepreneurs be successful in what they're doing.
Oh yeah, this is so important. I want to get into that in a few minutes. But what about the Night Market Cafe? Night Market. What do you call it?
Honolulu Night Market at Kaka'ako.
Okay, and where is that, and what is that, and can I go to that too?
Yes, you can. You can come.
Will you be there?
I will be there.
Okay, tell us about it.
The Honolulu Night Market is actually a spin-off of the Demand from Eat the Street. And over the 2 years that we've been doing Eat the Street, we've had tons of inquiries from people to participate who aren't necessarily food vendors. And what we have found in those small attempts to include them is that it's not the environment for them. And so we wanted to provide a platform, which is what Eat the Street is, a platform for food vendors. Well, Honolulu Night Market has two things to accomplish. And one, it's to provide a platform for more than just food. So we have art, we have fashion designers, we have interior designers, we have artisans, and our food vendors who participate in the event. The other side of it is we serve a purpose that I was actually shocked in researching. Hawaii and Honolulu doesn't have a night market. And, all of
true.
Across the world, their places, especially destination cities, have a night market that's alive and the pulse of what's taking place. And I just kind of had that aha moment where, why do we not have a night market that celebrates not just our food vendors, but all of Hawaii's local talent? And so, the premises of what we do at Honolulu Night Market in Kaka'ako is to provide a platform that is equally beneficial for all of our participants. So like I said, whether they're musicians, artisans, fashion designers, interior designers, there's a platform for them to be at the Honolulu Night Market. It takes place on the third Saturday of every month. And we
So Saturday night.
It's a Saturday
Everybody
night.
loves Saturday night.
I
What
know.
better time to go out and get involved in the mix and see the action and see the vendors?
Exactly.
Sounds very exciting.
And it's what I hope will become a legacy event for Honolulu.
Yeah.
I hope it will become a destination for our industry or tourism industry,
Yeah.
as well as our locals to come and be a part of the very pulse of what's happening in Honolulu. I mean, it doesn't get any more close to what's locally happening than at the Honolulu Night Market.
I love this.
Yeah.
I honestly do. And I told you we've been following Kaka'ako, but now it's coming alive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people whose families grew up in Kaka'ako, but that was another time.
Yeah.
And then, in I guess it was the 70s, it kind of got real silent. And they were building infrastructure for a long time, but now it's coming alive. You're a big part of that. So I want to talk about how this works as far as the entrepreneurs are concerned. Because people, you talk about the Manapua wagon and all that, or the lunch wagon you see out at Sandy Beach and all that. That's not it. This is different.
Yeah.
So tell me what kind of food trucks you are looking for, what kind of entrepreneurs you are trying to encourage to participate.
I mean, really, it's we don't discriminate. We just want to basically elevate, and so whether it's, the new trendy truck that has all the bells and whistles, the fun, wrapping of their trucks, and it's very marketable. And then we're also interested in, the lunch wagon that's been around for a very long time. And so, for us, we don't discriminate against any of our lunch wagons or our food trucks. We want to meet them where they are and help them to become further.
Better food trucks and better entrepreneurs and
more
better
successful
cuisine people.
Yes.
You want to offer great cuisine to bring people and make this critical mass in the middle of our city. Wow. We're going to come back after this break and we're going to talk about specifically what kinds of foods work. We're going to try to, prepare you for dinner tonight. Get your salivaries going, all right? That's Poni Askew of StreetGrinds.com. I'm Jay Fidell. It's ThinkTech. We'll be right back after this break. We're back. We're ThinkTech. We're broadcasting here on KGU 760 AM with Poni Askew of StreetGrinds.com and also Taste Table. I get that right?
Yeah.
.com. So Poni, I want to go to the larger sense here and talk about what it takes to be an entrepreneur in one of these food trucks and how that process goes. I mean, you said you take all comers, but at the same time, whoever comes, you try to improve the quality of the food and the entrepreneurship. Are you having success? What kind of things are you observing? And who are your stars? I want to know who the stars are because I want to come down and get their food.
Oh, I couldn't do that. For us, we offer, we put it out there on the table. My background is in food and beverage industry, but I am in no way, that it's not the thing that drives my business is not consulting. But it's always there on the table. And so we have consulted along the way and we have seen successes through those consultations, whether it be, why isn't our line as long as the others at Eat the Street, and, reviewing menu options, menu choices, what we know makes the customer tick. And we've seen lines go from 0 to the longest line at Eat the Street. And so it's something that we offer just as part of our business model right now, at no additional charge to our food vendors. We're happy for them to participate, and we're also happy for them to be successful at our events.
May I say, forgive me for this, but it's a two-way street.
It is.
Eat the Street is a two-way street.
It's no pun.
No pun.
It
So
is a
what
two-way
does consulting mean? Do you help them with how to do accounting, or do you help them with how to do food?
We'll brainstorm more from a marketing angle, and from I guess the choices that they provide. We've also, part of the thing that's exciting about our collaboration with Mark Noguchi at Taste Cafe is that he is the chef authority. I could not advise on taste, flavor, food costs, but I can identify sometimes that those are the things that they need help with. And so our collaboration with Chef Mark Noguchi is that he offers that officially as a consultation opportunity for them, through the Taste Cafe location. But for us, what we do is, it's a whiteboard, and sometimes it's as simple as, we'll start with one keyword that is frustrating them, and by the end of the mini consultation, we have a plan ahead, whether it be growth in numbers or changing of flavors, or a marketing approach that might get the word out there that they are out there and they exist.
Maybe a little social media.
A little social media. That's usually a big part of my preaching on that day. Social media is a big part of it, and it's kind of a catch-22 when you're the operator of this food truck. It's very difficult to stop, snap pictures, tell people where you are, and do a lot of that. And so how can you incrementally include that into your day so that you can keep your fan base and your following alive?
It strikes me that this is kind of an association in the making. It's an association of food trucks.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been thinking about this anyway.
We went through, we helped to spearhead Bill 59's changes, and we worked really closely with Tulsi Gabbard on that.
What were the changes?
The old law dated back to the 70s was that the food truck owner could only vend for 15 minutes. And then they had to move, and I don't remember the
Very
yardage.
restrictive.
And the worst part of that was that the fine was actually, it was a petty misdemeanor. So it was a criminal citation.
Oh, wow.
For selling, tacos on the side of the road for 17 minutes versus 15. And so working closely with Tulsi and the city council, we were able to change that law with Bill 59 and change it to a law now that they can actually vend for the amount of time that's posted. So if you pull up and it says 2 hours, they can put their coins in the machine like anybody else and vend for 2 hours.
That's great. What a good change.
Yeah, and so we were really excited about that. And there was a lot of talk at that point of association and coming together as an organization in that way. I didn't make that decision then. I'm still not sure if I would make that decision now. We are a for-profit business, and we want them to profit, and we want us to profit. Mm-hmm. And so obviously adding the level of an association into that makes it a little tricky.
Yeah, sure. But they come together. I mean, for example, they could buy food as a food buying group.
Absolutely.
And equipment and supplies and save money. And then the entrepreneurs who are coming through this pipeline of yours, would do that much better.
100%.
Yeah. So what kind of entrepreneurs do you have? Are they young? What's the demographic on it? Are they local?
Yeah.
How does it work for them? Are they able to earn a living from doing this?
It depends on their own personal commitment to their business, quite honestly. I mean, we have seen anywhere from the young food entrepreneur that just graduated from Kapiolani Community College's culinary
good
schools.
program, yeah.
And we've seen those that have been doing this and rolling around. I use Elena's Filipino Food as an example. They have been doing, they're a brick and mortar that has, I think, 3 food trucks that roll around, and they've been doing it for at least 10 to 15 years. And what they had found when we met them was kind of just like a lull, if you would, kind of pick the word for it. I would call it a lull. And what we've been able to see is a reinvigoration of their business, of their product, of their clientele. So their clientele naturally, because of Eat the Street and that sort of thing, is a younger clientele, which is the premises for me of any business plan, is you've got to hit the young.
Sure, because they're going to be forever.
They're going to be there
They're
for a
going
while.
to be with you for decades and decades.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we love and embrace the older, but we've got to get, those younger ones to know that Elena's has been around for 10 or 15 years,
Yeah.
and their food is delicious, and they've got a great product. But Elena's primary base was an older demographic, and so with that, it was difficult for them to see that turnover in business. And so you see things like that happening with established businesses, and then you've also seen new kids on the block come out. And like I always say, it's not a bad thing that we've seen some of them come and go. And because of the fact that this startup model is a lot less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can really put to the test what they think is their dream job and realize, hey, maybe I don't like chopping fruit and standing on my feet all this time, and their loss is so much less than what it would have been if they had just kind of gone full check with the $60,000 truck and the money that you can potentially spend on a mobile food business or on a brick and mortar business. And so
Well, it's like a yacht. A yacht is a hole in the water into which you pour money if you're not careful.
Exactly. And so we've seen all different kinds come and go with Eat the Street, and many stay. And that's the whole point of what we do is, sometimes I celebrate when somebody realizes maybe this isn't what I wanted to do after all.
Then you help them sell the truck.
Yeah. Truck for sale.
Well, so, there's a how-to aspect here that appeals to me. It's like, it's like everybody who likes food, that's a lot of people, wants to own a restaurant.
Yeah.
And now in the modern time, everybody who likes food, maybe they want to have a food truck.
Yeah.
So what is the price of entry? I mean, what do I have to do to get onto your lot and into Eat the Street? What do I have to do? Tell me how to do it.
We're looking for innovation, first and foremost. We want creativity to be a part of the event. There is only so much a certain food item that we can have, and so we would like for people to go beyond that, The other thing that we're looking for is, of course, the standard paperwork, licenses, insurances, obviously is very key in being part of Eat the Street event, as well as, we'll take somebody who comes in a 10 by 10, we'll take the older lunch wagon, and we'll take the brand new, like I said, beautiful lunch wagon that spent the money on wrapping their truck in some really pretty marketing.
Yeah.
But, what we're looking for, I would have to say, if I had to pick one thing, is innovation. We want to see things go beyond just your plate lunch. We want to see things go beyond the taco, and there's so many different things that you can do with food. And I think that if you want to be ahead of the game and ahead of the curve, it's starting to not look at what everybody else is doing, but innovate and create within and sell that without.
You had some wonderful people that we saw, and which are included in the movie that is playing on OC16. One guy went to a gelato college in Italy.
Yeah.
Came back and started a business on gelato.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Then there was the two, what was it, Lolo? Two kinds of food. One was Lolo. Lolo dat. It's a combination of food, two Hawaiian.
Oh my goodness, you are talking about how Lolo.
How Lolo.
Yes.
Right, how Lolo.
It's something so simple. I mean, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is one of our food vendors simply sells haupia and kulolo on top of each other, and he called it how Lolo is that.
How Lolo is that?
Yeah, and it's a great product. It's not something that anybody around really does, and so that makes him unique and sets him apart from other food vendors. A great young couple that started with making their own marshmallows, and they do handmade s'mores at the Eat the Street event, and they also do mochi truffles with some really great local dark chocolate, encased.
You are making me hungry.
I know, I know.
And then there was the Belgian waffle.
The Belgian with Wow Wow waffles.
They were really charming.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, these are relatively young, a lot of these creative people. And they do put their heart into it,
They
and
do.
it sounds like they make enough money to live by it.
Yeah.
And that's the catchy part, because in this state we're losing the middle class. The middle class is becoming fewer people in the middle class. You go high or low, but you don't stay in the middle. This is a loss. And one of the reasons we have this problem of the decline of the middle class is that there are not a lot of mom and pop businesses. They've all given way to big boxes and shopping centers and all that. And so what we haven't had in the past decade or two or three, these mom and pop businesses, and you are showing the way back to mom and pop.
Yeah.
This is so important to the future of the state.
Yeah. It's kind of a catch-22, even with Taste Table or Taste Cafe, is that, we did replace a mom and pop. It was Iconic Cafe, and they were, kind of a staple for the construction workers in the neighborhood with their plate lunches. But what we do encourage is, that entrepreneurial spirit and drive is definitely the heart of what we do with our food vendors. And so, I love to see the twinkle in the eye and the hope and the dream of owning their own business and being successful with it someday. And however we play a part in it, again, at the core of what we do, we want to create platforms for them to start up and grow. But also we see it as a marketing opportunity to consult unofficially with them and just brainstorm with them to help their business grow and become more successful.
And this is directly related. It's kissing cousins to all of those entrepreneurs that hang around the box jelly and the green cafe, the information technology guys, the geeks in there. So it's right across the street.
Yeah.
There's a contact, a connection.
There is.
Each one sort of reinforces the other. You're part of a larger process. And we're going to talk about that right after this break. We're here with Poni Askew with streetgrinds.com and tastetable.com. And we're talking about Eat the Street and how it's invigorating Kaka'aka. We'll be right back. We're live with ThinkTech. It's Wednesday. We're talking with Poni Askew. And if you hadn't figured it out, she is totally charming. And also a great businesswoman. Streetgrinds.com and tastetable.com. We're talking about Eat the Street is invigorating Kaka'ako. And we're at that point where I would like to ask exactly what the relationship is between, Eat the Street and Kaka'ako, the place where where it's thrived so much. You mentioned that you started out with a dozen trucks and 1,200 people, and using social media on location in Kapiolani, but now you got a bigger location. You got 5 times the trucks, and you got many more times the people. What's your estimate of how many people show up to these?
Our average is about 5,000 to 6,000 people a month, and that is the average. We have our low months and our high months, and so I like to settle right there. But garlic in Hawaii is huge, and so
you heard it here on ThinkTech.
Yeah,
garlic in Hawaii is huge,
and
it's
so
like breathing.
It is really our garlic Eat the Street event. Probably people parked all the way as far as Ward.
Oh, I went to a garlic event.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you go to our garlic event?
I don't know. Is there more than one?
There is more than one.
Okay.
So, we do see an average of 5,000 to 6,000 people, and we have grown from Kaka'ako. We do twice a year we do an event in Mililani. 4 times a year we do an event in Kapolei. And so we've expanded just a little bit beyond Kaka'ako, and we hope to go to the east side and the windward side as well with our event. But we started on Kapiolani Boulevard, and before we actually executed the event that day, we got a direct message on Twitter. It was kind of funny that it happened this way, but from a representative of Kamehameha School, what's your future plans for Eat the Street?
Interesting. Wow, talking about a historical moment.
I'm telling you, and I kind of laughed, and I said, well, let's see what happens tonight. And then, quickly after that event, and it was a huge success, we went and met with some of the asset managers of Kaka'ako in Kamehameha Schools, and, they saw definitely some synergies of what goals that I actually, had recently moved home at this point, and so back home. And so I hadn't realized that Kaka'ako was the place to be when I had first met with them. But
Interesting. They suggested it to you.
Yeah, they suggested it to us,
All
and,
right.
and they saw the synergies, and definitely, with Commitment Schools, it's a community-based, community-driven movement that's going on in Kakako, and that to me is one thing that's going to completely set anybody else apart. Is that the integral part of what's happening on the ground level with the community, and the people that are in it is going to make Kakako unique and has already made it the unique place that it is now. Even with Honolulu Night Market, and that's our most recent event that we've collaborated with Kamehameha Schools on. They're a huge supporter of my business, and we definitely couldn't be where we are without them today.
But it's a synergy.
It's a
To
synergy.
use that term. I mean,
Yeah.
you help them, they help you. It's
Absolutely.
exactly what they want to do.
Yeah. But even at Honolulu Night Market this past month, I try and be incognito, and then sit to the side, and people are, wow, what a cute neighborhood this is, and we have not even arrived yet. We're still going through the process. And so, to hear that, and, the collaboration that we have with them, even with Eat the Street, and the fact that, in their sponsorship, they give us this great 3-acre parking lot to produce our event on every month. I always say when I first pulled in, people are going, where is this Kaka'ako? Over there, isn't that kind of a shady area? And 2 years later, it really...
Everybody knows Kaka'ako by
Everybody
you.
knows Kaka'ako, and they're walking their dogs and jogging through the neighborhood, and I have to say 2 years ago, it didn't look like that, so...
Yeah. Oh, it certainly has changed, and it's taken on a whole... But you know what? You have this large parking, 3 acres, did you
Yeah.
say? And that's a wonderful, platform. But, it's like inviting to developers. It's not going to be there forever.
This is true.
The opportunity cost is huge to have
Yeah.
that just lie dormant.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you go there once a month,
Once a month.
and the rest of the time it's sitting there, not earning anything.
Yeah.
So, I wonder how you see that going forward. I mean, so rail is a pressure on
Yeah.
Kaka'ako. The Pohukaina tall building, was it 690 Pohukaina,
Yeah.
that's a pressure. There's developers getting involved now, and all these affordable and maybe sometimes not so affordable buildings are going to come up, and everybody's excited about it because it is ground zero as far as the development
Yeah.
of the city. So that's all pressure on you. Are
Yeah.
you dependent on Kaka'ako? What will you do?
We like I said, we're looking at growth and expansion, whether it be around the island, and, kind of snooping into what's going on in some of the other islands, and if there's opportunity for us there. We definitely, Kaka'ako is our home base, and to imagine street grinds not in Kaka'ako in the future would be a sad day. I think we could continue without Kaka'ako, but it would definitely, it's a part of who we are now, and so, that's where we live and breathe. I can't speak clearly for Kamehameha Schools and their development plan, but I do believe that with them being a community-based type of growth, they have plans in the future for the lunch wagons and for street grinds to be a
Oh,
part
good.
of the neighborhood.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I mean, because, it is giving them a lift they would not otherwise have.
Yeah.
The place has such vitality now. You can feel it. It's palpable. Walk down the street, even between Eat the Street events, you can
Yeah.
still feel it. It has this, it's got a residual effect all
Yeah.
month long.
Yeah.
So what's possible. I mean, I don't know if you've thought about this, but what's possible is a market that is brick and mortar, where somehow all these vendors that you've assembled, all these great creative
Yeah.
cuisine entrepreneurs, did you call them, can come into a brick and mortar situation and set up shop every day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something.
And that would actually be a wonderful kind of a permanent standalone food court.
Yeah.
But better than any food court we've seen.
I think so. I definitely think so. That would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah. So we just got to find space and investment
Yeah.
and promoters and stuff that
Yeah, yeah.
will make that happen. But, to me, I cannot imagine my dream of Kaka'ako coming true without you or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I hope Kamehameha Schools is listening. You gotta pay attention to this. I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they are. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
I definitely will say that, we are fortunate enough to see what the plans are for the future, and what we see, I'm sure, is public knowledge as well. But like I know at the base of what they do, they are community-driven culture. And so for them to build up a community, to then just remove the community would not be a part of what their future vision and their future plans are for Kakako, in their Kakako area. So, I definitely feel comfortable to know that we will have something there in the future for Kakako. But we also want to see growth and expansion, and it would be silly for me to keep a company in Kakako alone, because that doesn't support the growth and the future of the food
Right.
trucks.
It's all integrated. It's all synergistic.
Exactly.
And furthermore, it's iconic. I mean, what happens in Kakako? They say, what happens in General Motors, so goes the nation.
Yeah.
To me, what happens in Kakako, it's the future.
Yeah.
It's the generation. I remember I went down there when they were painting on the walls originally,
Oh, yeah.
Jasper Wong and the
Yeah.
Powwow group, and we made a movie of them painting on the walls. And
Oh,
I
good.
talked to some of the painters, and I was so impressed with their creativity and their commitment and their way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And they were young. They were the new generation of Hawaii.
Yeah.
And you are. And the guys in Box Jelly and in Greenhouse, they are too.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to preserve this. We have to make Kaka'ako fertile ground for this new generation. We have to give
Yeah.
them every opportunity. And I think I see it happening, actually.
I do, and I personally coined it the new Hawaii. I mean, I think I am a Hawaiian. I have strong Hawaiian roots and background, and with that comes a lot of tradition. And although we carry that tradition in our hearts, there's a new way that it's expressed. And I think that new way of expressing it should be embraced, and it's definitely embraced in Kaka'ako, whether it's entrepreneurial spirit and drive through food or through art with Jasper Wong. We'll be collaborating with him at the Honolulu Night Market with Powwow in February. And so, it's going to be a huge group getting together of all these people that are really setting the pulse and the tone for what is acceptable as business and as creativity, whether you're Hawaiian native or a Hawaiian local. You know what I mean? And so for those reasons, that's why I'm proud to be a part of Kaka'ako and what's taking place. It's not only that it provides a platform for our entrepreneurs, our culinary and food entrepreneurs, but it really is a new growth. It's a land for new growth of entrepreneurs in general in Hawaii, and that's something we've never had on the island. And I think that's why, for me, when I was in my early 20s, I left the islands to go find a place to do that. And I missed home, and I wanted to come back, and Kaka'ako let me come home and still explore that. So,
Poni Askew, streetgrinds.com and tastetable.com. Eat the Street is invigorating Kaka'ako, and it's invigorating me. And I'm ready to go and find a meal now. Thank you, Poni. It was a wonderful discussion.
Jay.
What you're doing is wonderful.
Thank you so
I
much.
really appreciate it. I give you a big kiss.
Thank you. my cord doesn't extend that far.
Aloha, Poni Askew.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Bye. This is ThinkTech. We'll see you tomorrow for Asia in Review.